Hello, everybody, and welcome to some game that we're gonna play. I'm good at intros.
Just
So
the
good.
Feel
best.
inspired.
You feel inspired? Yeah. No. Well, um, today is gonna be some Fall of Magic. We are in our break for season one, quote unquote, of Blades in the Dark having come to a close. Um, and we thought we'd play something a little bit, different in the meantime.
Indeed.
It's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a fun time.
Yeah, it's awesome stuff.
How many people playing this game have played Fall of Magic before? Me. Sean, have you played Fall of Magic?
I have
before?
not actually played it.
You have I see you're the real thing. Like I thought for sure you.
No.
Okay. All right, and Catalyst has never played either. So Fall of Magic is very simple role playing game in terms of that a lot of it is to do with what we say about things and not so much to do with any die rolling.
Yeah, there's not really like any conflict resolution rules
yeah.
or anything like that.
I mean, if you wanna go ahead, Sean, you can give us the outline because I am.
Yeah, so The Fall of Magic is a game that's from Heart of the Deernicorn. It was designed by Ross Kalman, and it's illustrated by Doug Keith and Taylor Dow. And the reason it's illustrated is important is, as you can probably see, there is a map.
Yes.
It is a largely map-based game. The idea is that magic is dying, and the Magus is dying with it. We, the characters, travel together to the realm of Umbra, where magic was born. So it's a game about the journey, and it's a game about what we encounter along the way. And on the map, there are just basically story prompts to give us ideas, but we're welcome to roll with that in any sort of way we see fit. There is like a turn structure, but we go through it and we tell a story.
Hang on, we're just having a little bit of audio difficulty because I think my audio is still delayed. How is it now, everyone?
Hello.
Testing. Good. Hopefully good.
1, 2, 3.
I don't know. I just had to change some settings. Damn it, me.
Mm-mm.
All right, we're good. Sorry.
Okay, cool. Yes. So did we get all that though?
Yeah, I mean the audio all
Okay.
came through. We were just out of sync. That's all.
Okay. Yeah. So that is basically the idea behind it. Character creation takes all of like 5 minutes at the most, and then we just get started and go till we're done.
All right, let's rock and roll. I'm ready to start. I'm ready to get into this.
Sure.
Maybe for those of us who either don't remember or can't or haven't played before, we should go over like how, first of all, the character creation is, and then the like system of who does what when throughout the game.
Yeah. So the idea behind it is that on the left-hand side of this map, there is a list of names and there is a list of titles. You choose your name, you choose your title, you choose one of the tokens up on the top to represent you, and then we choose a token that we're not using to represent the Magus, and we place that on Ravenhall, and we all get started. The way it works is we go around the table, everybody gets a turn, and we all place our token. Let's just pretend I'm this lit candle here. Let me pretend I can grab this lit candle here. There we go. And when it's my turn, I'll put myself, since if the Magus is this Raven here, Magus is in Ravenhall. I'm the candle. I put it in the menagerie, and it says the last time you saw real magic. So I use that as a prompt for what I'm narrating.
For like creating a scene, right?
Yeah, I basically create a scene with it. I can involve other characters. I can make up characters, all kinds of stuff. And when I'm done, things kind of come to a natural close, and it's like, okay. Then we go around. Everybody does that. Once everybody has placed their token, at that point, it sort of like unlocks the Magus, so to speak. Anyone can then, whoever's turn it is, you can choose to go to a different location or do another scene at the same place you're at, or you can move the Magus along the map.
So everybody has to do at least one scene in each location.
That is correct.
Basically what you're saying. And then the Magus can move to the next place, and then we can have our scenes there, and whoever's turn it is the one who moves the Magus and changes the scene and so forth.
Yes, and when the Magus moves, the person who moved the Magus, there's a prompt like the Oak Hills, let's say the ending of summer. So we describe, or whoever moves the Magus kind of describes that scene and sets it up. And then the person that's basically their turn. And then it jumps ahead to the next person, and we do the same thing over and over and over again until we reach the end of the map or stopping point or whatnot.
All right, cool. So the whole thing is up to us. Basically, there's the only thing that is provided for us roleplay wise are these prompts and these names and these titles.
Yes. We just like play pretend and shit.
Yeah, we just play pretend and we just make stuff up, and our own self-consistency is the only thing that polices us.
Now I will describe really quick. There are like 3 special kinds of spaces. There are ones that are like the rose gardens right here.
Yeah.
So they have little pluses and little adjectives next to them. You will frame a scene, and then at that point, you will give one of the characters, it can be yourself, it can be someone else, one of these descriptors. There's also another type that has a leaf next to it. I don't see any right nearby, but when we come across it...
We'll get there, yeah.
That means there's a change. That means you'll change one of the adjectives or your name or your title, or you'll remove one of the adjectives. And then there is one that involves dice. So you kind of narrate the opening of the scene, then you roll a die, and it gives you a prompt for like
scouting ahead
how that sort
here.
of goes. Yeah. And then you just kind of use that as your prompt for that. So it gives you like 3 different prompts you roll for. That's
okay.
It. That's
All right,
it.
cool. So let's choose names and titles.
It is your channel, Elf, if you want to.
No, I'm not gonna go first.
Yeah,
somebody else
the best name and title, Elf.
Somebody else go first.
Okay, I'll go first.
You go first, Hyena. This is a GM-less game too, so we're all playing. Just so everybody's clear.
Oh yes, that is important. I'm not running the game. I'm on board with everybody else. I am going to pick the name Caspian.
Okay.
And I'm going to be the Fox of Mistwood.
Oh, all right. I think I want River. River, the... I don't know. The Knight of Stormguard.
Now for the most 2 indecisive people to make a decision.
It's hard.
Sorry,
can we cross off the names that have already been used?
Oh, yes,
sure.
Yeah. And River.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if I want to do Knight. Damn it.
Right, and then we have a Fox.
We have a Fox and a Knight right now.
Yeah.
And an Elf who is undecided. Are you sure, Elf?
I'm undecided. I haven't chosen yet. I gotta choose.
Okay.
Andrew, your mic sounds like it might be the wrong. Your audio sounds like it might be the wrong mic or something.
I'll look into that. 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll be Harp.
Okay.
And I'll be the Golem of Ravenhall.
Harp, the Golem of Ravenhall. Nice. Okay. Knight. I'm gonna be River, the Fugitive of Stormguard instead. I'm gonna be the Fugitive of Stormguard. And that leaves Andrew.
Okay.
There we go. That's way better.
Yeah. My mic just wasn't plugged in, so I had it in front of me, but it wasn't on.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. And Elf is a fugitive.
I'm a fugitive.
This game is hard.
I like immediately wanted to go back to the one that I did for the Roll20 game of Fall of Magic, which is the Raven of Ravenhall. but I can't
Yeah,
do
I mean,
the
that's
same
like
thing.
the
You can
coolest
never go
one.
home.
The Raven of Ravenhall is a badass.
Okay, well, I'm gonna be Fawn, and I am a ranger of Mistwood.
Ranger of Mistwood. Okay.
Oh.
Nice.
All right. Cool. So who's gonna go first? Who's gonna do our first scene and thus describe our Magus and so forth?
Well, I guess we need to pick tokens and a token for the Magus as
Yeah,
well.
set the very first scene.
Well, I definitely think Sean should be the person to kick us off.
Why do you think that?
Make your selection.
That
Yeah.
sounds like volunteering, Catalyst.
Choose your token.
Okay. I'm going to be this peaceful stream.
Okay. How about you, Catalyst? What's your token gonna be?
Let's take the broken sword.
I think they're two sides of the same coin. I don't know if it matters, but they look like they're two sides of the same coin.
They are in real life, but we could just use
Okay,
whatever.
it doesn't actually matter. All right.
Yeah.
What about you, Andrew? What's your token?
I will be a burb.
A burb. All right. And I will be a tree.
Okay.
Who's doing the first scene?
Yeah, hold on. Let me check. There we go.
Checking the rules.
Yep. Okay, yeah, I guess we don't start with the Magus. We start with, whoever.
Oh, I guess the Magus would be described on the first advancing of the Magus.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to go.
All right, hit it up.
I changed my mind. I'm a giant.
You're a giant?
I'm a giant.
Oh, you're a giant.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, I'm a midwife. No, I'm still a fox.
All right.
I will go. Let me see. Yeah, so I'm going to go to the Rose Gardens.
The Rose Gardens. All right.
And I think, so it's shortly after, it's like mid-morning. And I think, it opens up on the Rose Gardens, which is this very fancy public garden in Ravenhall. And there are people gathered because the Magus is setting off. So, word has reached at least the nearby area of this happening. So people have come to see what's what. And there is a mother with her son, and the son is running around playing in the rose garden. And you see him run over to a rose bush, and there is, you notice that some of the petals are falling off of that bush, and the roses look a little withered. But the child doesn't even notice this. The child is just playing, and therefore doesn't notice slithering out from the rose bush. There is a serpent, like a sickly green snake that slithers out and comes for the child. And just as it's about to rear back and strike, Caspian, who is an actual fox, jumps in and seizes the snake in his jaws and gives it a quick thrashing to the ground. The mother runs over, and there's a quick moment because Caspian kind of growls when he does it, and everyone turns and looks at this fox near this child, and she pulls him away quickly. And they're just kind of standing off, and Caspian looks at them for a moment, and they kind of see the snake in his jaws, but not, it's a crowded scene. People aren't sure what happened, and people are just afraid for the child. So Caspian runs off back into the undergrowth, and gains the fierce descriptor.
Nice. I like it.
Neat.
I think I'll go next.
Sure.
If nobody minds. We good? All right. So I think I'm gonna go to the bridge. It had been a long time on the road coming to Ravenhall. On the bridge in, past the nearby river, was a welcome sight of civilization after having gotten out of that prison in Stormguard. Somewhere that maybe no one would know what she looked like, and no one would know, what she'd done. I mean, things have changed over that large amount of time, and taking a break, leaning against the railing of the bridge. River looks down onto the surface of the water and sees her reflection. Dirtier than she used to be, certainly. Many weeks on the road, trying to stay out of sight, hiding, camping where she could, away from towns. This was far enough. It was far enough that it would get her away. Certainly. Ravenhall, it'd be alright. That's my scene.
Neat.
Good stuff.
I got one.
Hit it up.
All right. So, trailing behind the Magus was a small cobblestone golem. It really just walked around and served the Magus as entertainment. It never spoke, but the way that it communicated was through soft whistles. It sang beautiful tunes and was able to keep the campfires not too quiet at night. This little golem's name was Harp. And with a name like that, it had learned many different forms of musical instruments. So it simply followed behind quietly, unless entertainment was needed. Then it would sing and keep the Magus and his company entertained. And that's what I have.
Nice. Like it.
Cool. So I'm gonna do a scene in the Rose Garden.
Yeah.
And River's gonna be there.
Okay.
So just so you know.
Sure. Yeah.
You're
Hook
gonna
me
see.
up. I'm there. Cool.
And maybe like River is kind of wandering around in the gardens, and you come around a corner into this it's kind of like round hedged in area with this particular type of rose that is like this legendary rose.
You're like the most valuable rose.
It's been there for like thousands of years and is magical in some way. Like you've heard all kinds of weird stories about this rose and bush in the Rose Garden. And at first you think it's this like towering statue of an old witch, but then she moves. And she's got these like long robes on, and a big hood, and like you can see this very beak-like nose kind of sticking out of the hood in profile. And as you step into the clearing, you hear this like very deep voice come from this giant, and she says, "I've been waiting for you."
For me? Why would you be waiting for me?
A little bird told me about you. And like as she says this, like a couple of crows like fly away from her that have been like perched on her like she was a tree. And they said there was someone with a curse on them.
A curse.
Run.
You know more than some, certainly.
Ravenhall isn't some stone for you to hide under, dearie.
Is that some kind of invitation? I'm looking for other options.
Yes, well, the Magus might need you.
The Magus? Why would the Magus need me? I was hoping you'd be able to solve my problem.
Well, these days, the world being how it is, and us as old as we are, and she like stands up from this like seated position and looms over you. We need all the help we can get. Young ones like you, full of energy.
Well, I could help, I suppose. If
And then she like takes a step like over you because she's like 15 feet tall or whatever. And there's this big thud as her foot like lands behind you. And she like reaches down to this little tiny, like, compared to her rose bush, which has one like silver, like mercurially reflective rose growing from it. And she reaches down with these ginormous fingers and just like ever so gently plucks this rose from the bush and like comes over to you and puts it behind your ear. And it's like, it like cuts you a little bit on its way in. It's like really sharp and feels really.
that's really valuable.
I grew it just for you.
Oh. Well, I'll
Like-
keep it then.
Already you can see the bush is like withering and going black and like rotting. And then there's just this loud thump as she strides off. And you're going to get the beautiful tag.
Oh, yay.
Aw.
Now I have a legendary magical rose. I don't know.
Nice.
All right,
It's like
so we've
plus
done.
one,
So we've
plus
done
one rose.
+1 rose exactly. We've done the full loop. So I believe that brings it back to you, Sean.
Okay.
Are you moving the
can we-
Magus?
Can we just write the order down?
Yeah.
It's the same order as the screens on the stream. Sean, me,
Never mind then. I
Uh,
won't write
Oh,
it.
Sean,
okay.
Sean, me, Catalyst, Andrew.
Cool. I'm not going to move the Magus. I'm
not?
going to go
Okay.
to the bridge. I think after like we see Caspian walk along the river, and his muzzle is bloody, and so he goes over and he kind of dips his muzzle in the river, both to clean himself and take a drink, and he kind of paws at himself to get the blood off. And we see that his fur is graying. He's not as young as he once was. He's an older fox, and so he kind of regards himself, and he stares into the water for a little bit once it settles down, just kind of looking and reflecting. And I think at that point we see a figure kind of kneel down behind him and reach out and just kind of pet him behind the ears. And he kind of sits down and just kind of contentedly closes his eyes. And I think that's my scene.
Nice. Do I want to move the Magus? I think I can, right?
You can totally move the Magus. It's your turn basically, and then we'll come back around to you so you get your character's turn.
Yeah, let's move the Magus. Why not? Let's get this show on the road, so to speak. Okay. So what's our Magus token gonna be? I like the dying candle for the Magus. That's a good one. Fall of magic and all.
Yeah, sad feels.
Set feels. I can't remember with moving the Magus if I'm just describing like the Magus's journey, or why did I pick to do this first? Why?
Yeah, so you describe what the Magus is seeing and stuff while we do this transition in the prompt.
Okay.
Yeah, when you play the Magus, show us who they are, what they are thinking, and how we travel together, just as you would your own character.
Okay. The Magus had seen a lot of things for a young one, the giants would say. But even she wasn't, well, we've already said he. I don't know if I can change that detail.
Do whatever you,
You
want.
can, yeah.
Even she wasn't prepared for the feelings that came with the ebbing of power, the draining of the bright lights of the world. So inexorably tied to it herself, it's like she couldn't really get up as easily in the morning. Everything was just harder, slower, more difficult. Traveling away from Ravenhall to try and find the solution to this problem, something that might bring back or at least explain this horrible absence. It was a necessity, and of course, anywhere she went, the golem went with her. Wouldn't leave it behind, after all. A rare piece of magic, sentient, who knows, life of its own. Summer was over. The leaves dying, getting red and orange and yellow and fading into an eventual winter soon, sometime soon. It felt just like the magic itself. Hopefully she could prevent that winter. I don't know. How's that?
Excellent.
Yeah, good.
I didn't know where to put the rest of us, so I just...
We'll find out. Catalyst,
I think it's your
you're
turn,
up.
Catalyst.
Ah, Catalyst is up. So I guess we're in Oak
You're in the
Hills
Oak Hills now. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I have to figure out what I'm doing here.
Yeah, you got Harper's Road, making camp by firelight, and at dawn.
You know what? So they had traveled for several days across the Oak Hills as they began setting up their camp for the evening. The small whistling golem, with his cobblestone fingers, tries to climb a nearby apple tree. Its harvest nearly done for the year. As it climbs and climbs, it slides back down as its fingers can't quite grasp the oak or the bark of the tree. It is then that it feels a great hand pick it up and lift it up the tree. And it manages to hold on to the apple and takes it off. As it turns around, it whistles in excitement at the giant that had just helped it. And as a token for the kindness of the giants, it gives it the apple. Not quite sure what to do with itself.
Yeah, like little tiny apple.
Yep.
And she like tucks it in some pocket of her like old cloak.
So I'm
I-
going to give the giant, or I'm going to give, I forget your character's name,
Fawn.
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 So I'm going to give Fawn the kind trait.
I love the idea of the golem going for an apple because like what's it even gonna do with it? Right?
It's just really happy about
It
it.
doesn't even eat.
So that's the end of scene.
Cool. That brings it to you, Andrew.
Oh, I'm kind as fuck.
Yeah.
I could do my morning typo.
Your morning ritual. Pause.
And then there's a second clause.
Yes.
I can't decide between By Firelight and Harper's Road. We'll do Harper's Road. And so, the witch, giant witch of the woods, she's like way faster than everyone else because she's gigantic. And so she spends a lot of time like wandering off and coming back. And so this happens with no one else around, but like very early on in their journey, she like walks like halfway back to Ravenhall, basically, grumbling. Like everyone just hears her like, you're like, of course, no, can't leave without saying goodbye, and then like just like turns around and walks back. And so it's like, we can kind of see Ravenhall in the distance, and at the edge of like, I imagine it as being surrounded by like kind of classic like European medieval woods, with little stone fences, and she's like waiting there, next to this tree that's just like completely full of crows, and they're all like squawking and cawing, and it's just like this horrible noise, and she's like, yes, I know, it's very far, no, you can't all come. Okay, fine, some of you get in. And she has this like backpack that's like it's like framed with like trees, like pretty much with like young trees and stuff, and it's this big like clunky satchel with lots of different little like modules on it, and the bottom half of it is this giant box, with little holes drilled into it, and it's like 20 birdhouses basically.
Oh,
Like bird sanctuary just on her like satchel on her back, and she's like gesturing like, yes, you two, no, not you, Maurice, go home, no, too loud. And so yeah, these various like crows and a couple ravens and some other like starlings and other forest birds all like flutter in, but there's still this tree just like full of all these birds. And she's like, oh no, I'll be back later, just stay here, look after the hall. And then she like stomps back and catches up with everyone.
Awesome.
okay. I guess I'm up.
It's you.
Yeah, so I think the fox has been kind of distant from the rest of the group, just kind of tagging along on the outskirts for the time. I should probably actually move myself to where I was thinking. At dawn, your morning ritual. And so I think in the morning, of course, he awakens and he goes off and hunts typically, and gets himself food. But I think for some reason this morning, like he sees River poking at the ashes of the fire,
Okay.
and he just senses like a sadness about her. Like he doesn't quite get, what her story is or what she's running from or anything like that, but he he notices there's something about her. And so he basically, while he's off in the woods, he gets a rabbit and he brings it to her, and he comes out of the woods like trotting over and sits and drops the rabbit in front of her.
Well, we don't have such well-trained wildlife in Stormguard. Hello there, she says back, like sort of wondering if there's going to be a spark of intelligence from this animal.
The Caspian kind of cocks his head a little bit, and he just kind of reaches forward with a paw and he pushes the rabbit forward a little bit.
I seem to be getting so many gifts lately, she says, sort of like, you know, brushing her hair past that rose. I mean, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, certainly. She reaches down and, like, takes the scruff of the rabbit, the bloody rabbit carcass, and sort of holds it up and says, "You sure you don't want some? It's right here."
And with that, Caspian like makes a little dipping motion that kind of looks like a bow, and then like just pounces back off into the forest for the time being.
Rabbit for me then, I guess.
All right, that's
Just
me.
like look after you, like, what? Oh, magic. I guess that makes it me. Yay. I am going to do by firelight and just round us out here.
Yes.
So River is sitting by the fire in the camp, and whoever wants to be around can be around. You're welcome to.
Sure.
If you're there. Sitting by the fire in the camp, and it's getting dark, or it's just gotten dark, and she digs through her bag and pulls out a little sort of wrapped bundle, and sitting cross-legged in front of the fire, sort of unwraps it, and inside is like a little loaf of bread, basically. And she looks up at whoever's nearest. Who is the closest person that I could like converse with? You know.
I mean, I'm there.
You're there. Okay, easy.
I seem close because I'm huge.
That's easy eye contact.
Actually, very far away, but
Yeah. And I sort of like lift a little bundle, unwrapped bundle of bread, and I say, "I've had this for maybe a little bit too long, to be honest. All the way back from Stormguard. My local delicacy, so to speak, local specialty. This particular bread right here. I didn't want to eat the rest of it, but I think starting a new journey should probably get rid of the burdens of the last journey."
You see Caspian's ears like poke up, and it's like
Ill fortune carrying that kind of thing around.
Ill fortune.
Not auspicious to start a journey with yesterday's bread in your bag.
Never heard that one before, but I can see the wisdom. I crack open the bread, so to speak, and just like pick at the soft bits in the middle. Like, the crust was never that good anyway.
If your past doesn't suit your tastes, why pick at it at all?
Still important. Whether or not it suits my tastes, it reminds me of things that are important to who I am. And then I continue to eat my bread. Maybe throw a piece towards Caspian if Caspian is in an attentive mood.
oh yeah, no, he comes right over and just sits down and like looks at
Yeah.
you.
The witch just like reaches over to a nearby tree and like plucks a branch off of it and then puts it in the fire and then of goes
Just-
back to like muttering to herself.
And like seeing Caspian so attentive, I sort of like grab a bunch of bread from like the center of this like hardened crust, and like offer it out.
And like he comes up gently and he just like takes it.
Like it? I mean, I got this whole crust. I'm probably not gonna eat it. It's kind of hard.
He he looks at it expectantly.
Yeah, just like pushing it towards him, basically.
He just like takes it and starts like he eats a bit of it, but he doesn't like fill himself on it. So
Didn't know foxes ate bread. There you
Yeah,
go.
Fawn is just like, what? Who are you talking? You talking to me?
No,
Speak-
just talking to myself. Thank you. Sorry, Fawn.
In the background during the entire time, you just hear the whistling of the golem
Just like the little whistling.
just walking around the fire pit continuously.
Just full of energy.
don't need to sleep.
All right, that's my scene. So I think we're back to Catalyst.
Yeah.
All right. Well, in the interest of moving the story forward,
Well, they all move the story.
Yeah,
forward.
everything moves the story
Yeah.
forward.
Whatever you want to do.
so we are going to take the Magus and go to Barleytown now. The summer slowly faded away and brought upon fall, and through the Oak Hills they traveled and traveled until they reached the small town of Barley. Now, this town had vast farmlands, a magnificent market. There's an old stone abbey, and perched on top of the hill that Barley was built on stands a magnificent stone fortress. Now, it had just it had just become winter at that point, and the Magus and her companions were seeking a place to stay until the weather was better to travel once more. She comes and knocks on the massive wooden doors of the fort and announces herself. It isn't too long before a very burly man comes in, draped in a fur cloak and bright green tunic. And he smiles at the young Magus. And they all enter the fort of Lord Barley.
Andrew.
My turn. Time for Barley. Let's go to Matilda's farm. 'Cause she thinks we need things.
What does she
So
think we
like,
need?
the first day in Barleytown, Fawn goes and like wanders around the kind of outskirts of the town. And she's like picking, herbs and like gathering these like weird twigs and other plants. And like conversing with her birds, as is her usual way.
Mhm.
And she kind of meanders around, not seeming to take much notice of the people, until she gets to this one house that's kind of out in the fields. And she sits down. Does someone want to play Matilda? Okay, cool. So Matilda is like someone that the Fawn has known in the past. And so she just like I think Matilda gets like woken up by the sound of the witch like sitting down on the corner of her house. There's this loud like creaking of the roof as it like strains to support her. And then just like a little rap on the roof of the witch knocking. Yeah, and it's like just barely dawn. Um,
Oh, I've been muted this whole time. My bad.
Oh no.
Yeah, so she wakes up and roused by the whole rapping on the roof thing, and wanders outside to see you sitting on the side of her house.
Yeah.
She's like, it's probably not good for the house. You sitting on it like that. It's not really made for that.
I talked to the beams. It's fine.
All right, sure.
Just got to give them a little stern talking to, and they behave themselves. And she like, just to prove a point, she like lifts her feet and like leans back on the roof, and it like creaks and bends, but doesn't break. It's fine. It's fine, Matilda. You worry too much, and you sleep in. It's not good.
The sun's hardly up yet. We don't all walk around the woods as much as you, you know, awake at whatever time.
Yes. Did you make the thing I asked for?
Well, I mean,
Blue.
wait, which one? Are you talking
Maybe
about?
it was your grandmother I asked. Well,
It's a little
Yeah.
bit long ago. I do have something that you could definitely use, though. All the birds and the, you know, houses and such. A lot of bird seed kind of food type of things. I got whole bags of the stuff. It's gotta be helpful for keeping that many pets.
Well, when your great grandmother and I made our deal, she said that on this day you would have what I needed.
It's possible. Let me see. And I kind of, Matilda like wanders away towards like this barn that's like on the property, and opens up the door, and if you followed her, you can see sort of like inside. And there's actually like a large, like it looks like a big brewing keg almost. Like a vat but made of wood. I mean, this thing's been here forever.
And then there's like a creak as the witch like leans in and is like holding onto the roof of the barn to like peer her head into it. Yes, that's the one. Special magic preserves the timber.
Oh,
Anyways,
I-
your job is done. Hand it over.
yeah, right. I might need your help to move it.
Yeah, and
There's
she's
a
like, "Oh,
reason
fine,
this-
I'll get it." And this arm like comes in the door and just like lifts the vat off the ground, and, like pulls it out the door. She's like, "And as promised," and then like reaches into some part of her bag and like hands Matilda this, like, it's like so tiny, but the witch manages to like pull it out of her bag, and it's this perfect glass sphere. And suspended inside of it, it's like kind of like a snow globe of Barleytown, but everything's all like shimmering and golden. And there's like the tiny little version of her house, with these like beautiful, great big green trees that are like dwarfing the castle itself. And she like hands it to her very delicately, like this little tiny thing.
She like gingerly receives it like a, you know, like a precious gift.
Sleep with that under your pillow every day for 3 weeks. and then the gift will grow.
Right you are, Fawn. I will do that. Things growing around here would be helpful. You know, crops and harvests and stuff.
Yes, yes. Bounty, winter, spring, summer, fall, all seasons. Yes, yes. And she like hauls this like vat of brew up to her nose and like this incredibly loud like sniffing sound, and then she kind of like coughs a little. It's like, yes, it'll do, and like walks off.
I'm sorry, I haven't really been tending it. I don't even know
And these crows,
what it
like this
was.
cloud of crows, like trails her. Yeah.
Yeah. Just like a confused Matilda, like left there with like a glass ball in her hands, looking out after you. Cool.
So that's a scene.
I love it.
Nice. Okay.
I mean, is it you, Sean?
Yeah, no, I'm thinking. All right, what do I want to do? I'm going to go to the old abbey. And so I think Caspian has been like spending time with the Magus and kind of slips away from her and heads off to this abbey on the outskirts of town. And it's old, but it's abandoned. It's crumbling in places and it's overgrown. And there's like a small tree growing in the center of it, and it's nighttime when he goes, and like a bit of the roof is caved in, and I think he's sitting there looking at the tree, and I think someone comes in, and I'm wondering who that is. Okay.
I'll happily, if you want a player, I'll happily.
Yeah,
let
yeah,
you
no, that's
in.
fine.
So River walks in, having followed you to this ruined place.
Mm-hmm.
She looks down at you and says, "Why all the way out here? Why not stay with the Magus? You looking for something?"
Like he kind of turns his head and looks at River for a moment. Do you ever have regrets? He says.
I knew you could do something. You're too smart not to. I recognize magic when I see it. Regrets? I have a ton of those. Why?
I see you're running from something.
Bad circumstance. Unfortunate situation. Nothing to it. Nothing for it.
I know that well. There was a priest who used to live in this chapel. He was a healer. I was trying to come here to fetch his services for someone important. A promise I had made.
Someone you regret leaving?
I had been known in town. I've been here before for taking some chickens here and there. And some of the farmers noticed me and chased me off. I maybe could have made it, but I was younger then, and I was afraid. And others suffered for it. I know what it's like to run away.
Yep. Well, it's never by choice.
It's always by choice. And I think that's the scene.
Yeah, that was good. I like that. I think it's my turn, isn't it?
It's your turn now.
Yeah, I guess it is. Okay.
Yeah.
For the journey, heavy memory. I'm gonna go to Swine Hill. Battle fought long ago. And I'm gonna bring the golem with me.
Whee!
Yay. So I'm basically River heads up to this hill, Swine Hill outside of town. It's not that far. It was a battle fought near Barley. What can I say? But as I'm walking up there, as River's walking up there, to the sort of like high point of the hill where there's a couple of weak looking trees, she's talking to the golem, who accompanied her for whatever reason. It had its reasons, I'm sure.
It just follows whoever's around.
There you go. So she says to it, I've never been here, but I've heard a lot of stories. My father was here. Last place he was. Mother always told me that he was brave, fought valiantly. Stormguard and Ravenhall, not always good friends. Barley caught in the middle. Bad news, especially when the Magus chooses sides, and it wasn't our side. That was when things went really bad. When things started to get bad. It's hard to survive in Stormguard without, family around.
It kind of like looks up to you and gives this curious kind of de-escalating whistle.
River kneels down and sort of like looks the golem in the eyes. If it has eyes, I don't know.
Oh yeah, it definitely has eyes.
Yeah,
Its eyes are
little blue pebbles in its head.
Kind of, yeah. They're like decent sized. Like they look a little out of place.
They're like too
but
big.
They're these blue orbs. Yeah.
Nice. So looking you in the eyes, let's see. You seem like the kind of little thing that can keep a secret.
It kind of just bashes its hands together, but it doesn't sound like clapping. It sounds like smacking two rocks against each other.
I can't go back to Stormguard.
Just quietly cocks its head at you.
There are people there who would consider my presence a challenge. They ran me out. I went to Ravenhall. And then Fawn told me I should go with the Magus, and now I'm here. Headed back towards Stormguard. Maybe we can take an alternate path. There's got to be another way through.
So up to this point, you haven't heard it ever use a trumpet before. But suddenly it like gets really excited for you, and it starts blowing this trumpet.
That's it's a little loud. Let's just bring it back down. Place of respect. Lots of people died here.
As you like try to calm it down or try to settle it, you notice that it's pointing somewhere. And across the fields, you kind of see this, like you see the mountain range of Stormguard.
Mm-hmm.
But ever so slightly to the left, there's a large forest. And when you look carefully, there's an open path going around the mountains.
You think we should go through the woods, huh?
It collapsed again.
I'm inclined to agree. Best not stir up any trouble. And that'll be the scene.
Okay.
It's your turn.
Yeah, I have to figure out what I'm doing.
Actually, let's wait. Who's the person who can move the Magus? It's Andrew, right?
Andrew
Yes.
will technically
Yeah.
have the first opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
could do. No, we'll just take a quick break here, I think. Grab a quick break. You know, everybody get something to drink. You know, think about where we're going, and then I will see you in a couple of minutes.
Okay.
We'll be right back with more Fall of Magic.